6 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and start our meeting. Leroy's providing background music tonight.
Dancing later.
I thought that was the theme music from Cops for a second.
Okay,
You got up there, huh?
Yeah.
we'll start with our pledge of allegiance, led by Mr. Mill, our president.
President Mill.
President Mill.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. We'll start with roll call and any conflicts of interest.
No actors present with no conflicts of interest.
Rob Milchek present, no conflicts.
Gina Gravenmeyer, present, no conflicts.
Tammy Hassel, present, no conflicts.
Mayor Carson, president, no conflicts. Any proposed amendments to the agenda?
I wasn't sure whether or not, based on the last meeting, if we had to have action next to, if we wanted, if the water department was asking for any fund approval. I got confused about that last.
I think we, as, from what we were told last time, if they need funds, it's a large amount. If it's not something that I can approve through, the office,
Okay.
like over $500, should probably be brought to
I wasn't
council.
sure if that's even happening or not. I just was.
I think before we had set a $500,
Okay.
like allowance.
I think we talked about not taking action on like reoccurring chemical orders and stuff that happens
Right.
all the time, but outside of water breaks that are catastrophic and.
Okay.
Okay, any other amendments to the agenda? All right, we'll move on to approval of the minutes for March 12th regular meeting. You wanna do one at a time?
I didn't see anything, just looking through it. Anybody have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
I move this meeting minutes of March 12th be approved as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meetings for March 12th are approved. Work session, March 9th. I mean 19th, sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't here, so probably not gonna approve it or disapprove it. I don't know if that needs to be said or not. Wait, I guess I was.
Anybody?
I don't see anything.
You see anything, Sandy? Mhm.
Just my name spelled wrong. I mean,
Forgot an L. We're gonna change that.
I move that the minutes of the work session on March 19th be approved as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
None opposed? Minutes for March 19th are approved. Okay, regular meeting minutes for April 9th.
Anyone see anything?
No.
Okay, Gina? All right,
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of April 9th be approved as presented.
I'll second.
all approve, or all in favor?
I,
No,
Okay, this is the one.
minutes for April 9th have been approved. Work session minutes for April 22nd.
Anyone? Nothing.
I move that the work session minutes of April 22nd be approved as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
I wasn't here, so.
Okay. Motion passed. Minutes approved. Alrighty. Did you have anything for the financial report, Tammy,
Not tonight.
Cindy?
Not tonight.
Bills to be paid.
We don't have anything unusual today. All normal bills.
No, extra expenses have come up in the last 30 days.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's stay on that roll. Okay. Introductions for guest speakers. Doesn't look like Brandon is here yet. Mr. Wojciech, you're up.
All right. So a couple months ago, I brought the Nez Perce County multi-hazard mitigation plan to you folks and circulated that through the community. The next step is for the cities in Nez Perce County to adopt it, and through a resolution that I have to add that adoption to the plan, and then we send it forward to FEMA. So we have cul-de-sac, Lewiston and Nez Perce counties. Lapways is kind of exempt because they use the Nez Perce tribe multi-hazard mitigation plan or all hazard mitigation plan. So as soon as I get this one, then the next step is for me to forward it to FEMA. There could be some minor change in it before I get the final copy back to you. It'll be pretty insignificant, but when I get it, FEMA's review, Idaho State has to sign a letter that I also attach to the document, and then everybody gets a copy back. Does anybody have any questions about the plan that I can answer for you?
I think Milt was asking if at the last meeting, about adopting the Nez Perce County, floodplain ordinances and stuff, hazards, and we found that, so I guess we don't really have to ask a lot of questions about it. Did you pass that down to him? We were going through some files in the filing cabinet and found that, so that I don't believe was emailed to you.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add this, and what this looks like is basically within the document, there's just one little square box that has between 5 and maybe 10 ordinances from Lewiston, cul-de-sac, Peck, for this that address things like building codes, flood information. It's just a way in which the ordinance enhance the community's ability to be resilient, if you will. So, and that's what that was for.
Okay.
So I put all the ones in there that you sent me, and I will add this one before I send it forward.
So I have a question. at first you said you needed a resolution, and then you just said you needed an ordinance, and I'm just asking for clarification on that. I mean,
No, he's making a resolution. We already sent him the
Okay.
ordinance.
Right, right, I received
Okay.
the ordinances from
Okay.
multiple, all the cities provided, and then this resolution will be attached. This is marked resolution, and most of them are marked
Right.
ordinances.
Right.
I'll
Right.
insert it as the document is titled,
okay,
Okay.
I just wanted to have my notes.
for sure, for sure.
So what action's required of us at this point? Do we have to, vote on something that we get you on this, or?
If you could, I'd like you to vote on adopting the Nez Perce County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan for 2025 to 2030. It's a 5-year plan. And then that resolution will be added to the document itself. And then if there's any changes, I'll let you know before we have the very final copy sent out to everybody. There could be some little thing in there like, they want me to address X, they've asked for things in the past, kind of as the process has been going on. FEMA hasn't gotten this yet to review it, so they may ask for some little change to remove something, to add a little. It's not gonna be significant, whatever it is.
Okay, so that's why I have him as number 5. So, I guess if we had a motion to move this up to number 1, we could probably, actually, we don't need to, we can just vote on it when it comes up.
Yep.
That's why he's on here, so we can vote
Yeah,
on
okay.
to approve it or not adopt it.
We'll just pick it up when we can.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
All right,
And then if you'll just scan the resolution and email it to me, then I'll insert it into my document, and then we'll be good
Awesome.
to go. Yeah.
all right.
Any questions? Any other questions about it?
I don't think I have any.
No.
Cindy, do you have any?
I think.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So that's coming up then.
Yeah.
This is the number 5 of our old business.
Yes.
that we're-
Right.
Yeah, we don't have our own building codes, we go off in Nez
We
Perce
go off
County,
everything.
we have an ordinance that says that, so.
Yeah, everything goes on in Nez Perce County already.
We're too
so.
small to, unless there's something really special.
Right.
Yeah, you had 3 or 4 that I added to it, and that's all. Just whatever you have is great. And I'll insert this one. So, do you need something further from me?
Nope, I don't think so.
Nice Air Force sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Retired for 15 years from that now.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah,
Nice, well, thank you for your service.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
You
You
too.
too. Okay. Our next guest speaker is Brian Childers from the Idaho Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, you get 2 Air Force guys back to back. That's pretty awesome.
That's
Yeah,
I feel honored.
Speaking of guys who want to be retired.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. That's part of the
This
pitch.
is his gig right now.
Yeah, so like Rob was alluding to, I'm actually in the process of retiring in the area between Kamai and Orofino. And I'm with Idaho Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and I'm on an internship with them, one of the many resources they actually provide for veterans. And basically, the thing they're asking me to do is because since they're Boise based, they're asking me to come to some of the areas a little bit farther out that they don't have a presence in. Since I happen to be moving here anyways, and it was a perfect fit. I've been to Kendrick, Grangeville, Lewiston, Julietta, Orofino, Kamai, now Peck, and I'm looking to kind of stay within roughly the hour-ish drive. And I'm just trying to raise awareness of the resources that they provide. Some examples are the internship program I'm on now. So if you know anybody who has relatives about to get out of the military and they're having issues or need a little bit of help finding a job, this has really made it a great opportunity for my family and I to get out here and get established while I'm in the process of retiring. It's a very stressful time. They're also in the process of actually building tiny homes for homeless veterans up in Boise.
Oh,
They
wow.
do free, they help veterans find jobs. All this is absolutely free. The only thing they ever ask you to do is sign up on the website that they have through there. None of it costs you anything. It's for veterans, it's for dependents. If you're even loosely related to a military member, you can just sign up because you literally only have to click a box and say, relative or dependent if you're not the service member yourself. And that's all they really have me doing. I don't have anything to offer or sell, or it's just the pamphlets, and it's just trying to let people know that I'm out here. I'm actually currently working with the Camry American Legion, trying to help with their poker run, advertise them, up the Facebook presence, trying to help with that. I'm working with the Grangeville Veterans Outreach Center. They have a big firearms event coming up. If you're not tracking that, you should definitely do that. So essentially, my role right now is trying to find where veterans are and help. And it's the best job I've ever had because I'm literally just helping people that I'm hoping to eventually be like here shortly.
Awesome.
So I that's all I really got. If you need anything, you can reach me through Rob or like the brochures.
So are these the brochures you're leaving here? Like,
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
we can hang
Those are
one up
for
at the
you.
post
Absolutely.
office.
And if you need more, I can get you as many
You can
as you
hang
need.
it up at the post office, the library, even the
Yeah.
fire station.
What happened, once you retire, you don't really realize how many things are out there for, veterans, and specifically trying to find jobs or help with, housing or, anything, businesses. We were talking to a guy yesterday who's retired out of the Army/Air Force that's trying to get something going up here too for veteran-owned businesses. So we'll see, maybe more to come.
So there's a website then.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, it's all
Yeah,
there.
maybe link it.
And
Yeah.
like I said, I'm very easily reached. I'd come to any events. I'm essentially looking for any group of people that would give me a couple minutes to let me talk about it, and I can answer any additional questions.
See, we'd be willing probably to link it put it on the city website.
That'd be great.
And
That would be super amazing. And if there's anything else you need from me, like I said, reach through Rob, or I can leave my personal contact.
Perfect.
Whatever you guys need. I'm just here to help and be involved.
And you put your number on the sign-in.
Oh, I
sheet.
sure did. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we could sign up through the with our city email to the Idaho Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and then get email notifications with events and stuff too.
Oh,
And,
sweet.
and the coolest, one of the things that, as an entity, that you guys could actually utilize potentially is the internship I'm on now. So if you own a business or if you're an organization, you can have someone like me, if you sign them up, come work, essentially work for you for 6-ish months for free with military training experience, depending on what they're doing. And it obviously has to be somebody that agrees to it. You can't
Right.
we're done
Right.
being forced to do things, unless you're married. But that's another thing as an entity you could take advantage of. For example, if I'd have known about the city of Peck earlier, maybe I could have reached out and set up something where I came and I was y'all's intern for random, whether it be maintenance or helping you guys out with these types of things,
Oh,
or
that would be
finance,
awesome.
contracting, all sorts of other things that could be the opportunity.
That would be awesome.
Again, I'm going to be around, and even after I'm done with my internship, I'll be around. So if there's other
Awesome.
stuff,
We know where to find you.
please do.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Wojciech, did you have something?
I did. So before I come up here, I asked the commissioners if there was anything that they would like to pass along or ask of you. And Joe Gish mentioned that one of you was working on a grant for your water system.
Yes.
And he has a contact through the Clearwater Economic Development Association that may be able to help you. So he didn't tell me who the person was that was working on the grant.
That would be the three
but
of us.
Yeah.
Basically her.
If you'll
She's
write
doing
your
all the-
phone number on that, I will give it back to Joe, and he has a contact for you.
It might be the guy that Dodd Snodgrass, I don't know. Do you care where I write it?
It doesn't matter. No.
Yeah, the minute you say water system and money and grant around here, everybody's
Yeah.
Jumping on it.
Yeah.
It's like our
You already
number
know.
one reason for existing as a city is because there's a water
water,
system
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you very much. That's
Thank
all I
you.
have.
Thank you.
betcha.
Alrighty, well, looks like Brandon's still not here. Do we have Leroy Kuykendall? Leroy is going to present as speaker and a concerned citizen.
Oh, good.
He wanted his full 5 minutes.
Oh,
Uninterrupted.
Hit the clock, here you go.
Okay, here we go.
Gloves off.
Okay, a dear friend of mine passed away here recently,
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
O'Connell. Some of you may have known him anyway. He had 2 plots up in the Peck Cemetery to go ahead and be buried up there and stuff. He was wanting to be buried in a pine box without a vault in the cemetery. There's an ordinance that you have that says you have to be put in a cement vault in order to be buried in the cemetery, you know. I understand that because in a pine box, it's going to deteriorate, collapse, there's going to be a divot, there's maintenance involved and stuff as far as upkeeping it and stuff. So with their frustration and stuff, they have found a spot in Coostie for him to be buried, which is really saddens my heart that he's not being buried in our cemetery, being as how he was such a huge part of this community for years and years anyway and stuff. And I feel the same way. I would like to be just buried in a pine box in the cemetery and stuff. You know, I don't want a vault, okay? And I have a plot up here, along with several of my friends have plots up here too, and they feel the same way. I'm sure that even in the new cemetery, there are many people that have been buried there without vaults anyway. I just don't think they were aware of this ordinance anyway, that you have ordinance 160 that, and there's a $1,000 fine if you don't do it, you know, and stuff.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
What I found out when I researched, like Coostie, what they do, if you're gonna be buried in their cemetery without a vault, there's an additional $200 charge for maintaining the grave because it is sloughing in over the years and stuff, and also they add that on. And also the city of Coostie will dig your burial spot for you for $400 and stuff, which what we've ran into is the funeral homes, of course, got a hold of you anyway, because they want their money and stuff to go ahead and bring up their excavator, dig the hole, the vault, the money involved, and blah, 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 blah. So they're wanting their piece of the pie, is what the huge battle seems to be. I don't know why Nancy adopted this ordinance back in, was it 2000, I think, when it was finally revised or whatever?
2015 or 2005.
Yeah, maybe it was updated after that or something anyway. But anyway, I would like you to maybe look at this ordinance in the near future, you know, and stuff, and see if maybe we could be a way around me and my buddy Ace and a few other people that are getting buried up there to not have to have a vault to go ahead and be buried, even if it's an extra charge for us to go ahead and do something along that line. Okay, so that's one issue. Okay, I only got 2, so.
Can I, while we're on the subject of the vault and so on, if you're cremated and you bury an urn, then that would be just sufficient there. Is that
But you
right?
don't have to have a vault for the urn.
Yeah, but there's also, I guess with the urn, you have to have some kind of other enclosure around it too, when they bury it
okay.
too. Yeah, so there's your urn, and then they have some other container they put it in
Yeah.
too, when they put it in the ground, and they're just digging a post hole down and putting it in the ground, stuff when they do that, so. And you can bury up to 2 people on one grave site, even more if you went to the city council and requested it, according to what your ordinance reads and stuff anyway, that you can have even more than 2 people on a plot.
Isn't it one casket and one urn?
No, just no casket, just one urn, 2 urns, 3 urns
Okay.
possibly if they addressed you, 4 urns even if they addressed you, but at a plot, no, it's just 1 casket. Yeah, no urns or anything else, so that's the way the ordinance reads anyway. But just like I say, my concern is I don't want involved.
Right.
Okay, so even if there's an extra cost involved, I would be okay with that, so. Any more questions on that anyway?
So Jim does not get to get buried here.
No.
No, he's going, yeah, because Margaret was a little upset about the whole thing.
Very.
And,
And she's not the only one. It broke my heart to have to tell her that.
yeah, and so she, like say, we're putting Jim in the ground Friday anyway, up in Coostie.
Okay, so, do we have time to change the ordinance?
Well, that's what I was. That's
Before Friday?
immediately what I was thinking.
Can we call a special meeting before Friday?
You could call a special meeting,
I could call a
but
special
you
meeting.
can't vote on it tonight.
But
Okay.
this is Wednesday.
I know, so
I don't
yeah.
think-
I wish I would have known. Jesus, that's so
Yeah.
sad. I don't
Yeah, I
understand
didn't
it
know
at
that.
all.
It really,
I didn't know that until
And
just
this-
now, I thought it was already taken care of.
Yeah, and this all just, like you said, it all just materialized just now. I mean, just this last week.
Exactly,
Yeah,
just
so
this
we
week.
didn't know, didn't see this really coming until now, so anyway, that's what's going on there.
Is that something we want to try to do?
Well, I think it's,
Can we put off the burial another week or so if we need to?
Well,
I guess I could talk to Margaret about it and see if she wanted to do that or not, but she,
There's some extenuating circumstances where it might not be possible.
yeah,
Okay.
right. Well, I mean,
Depending
she's
on
right
where
up
he's-
against the time on it now.
Right, yeah,
Depending
Damn
on
it.
where he's kept in a
Yeah.
cooler.
right.
yeah, and we're not picking him up till Friday, so he's on ice till then, so I don't know if you wanted to maybe try and do this with Margaret and contact her, yeah.
I mean,
could you guys do?
me personally, I would. I mean, we're supposed to go to a class on Friday, but I mean, if we need to be around tomorrow or
I'd
something,
be willing to
Yeah.
have a special.
I'd be
session.
willing to do a special meeting tomorrow. I mean, if it makes sense.
It'd have to be tomorrow night at 6:30. We need 24-hour notice for
Okay,
a
Yeah.
special
well.
meeting.
Yeah, I will be there.
I could do that tomorrow night.
What are we gonna do? Just repeal that line in the ordinance, or what is the purpose
Make an
of that?
amendment to that, ordinance anyway would be something like, yeah.
What's the purpose of the concrete, a concrete vault? Is that what it says to be buried up there?
Yeah.
Are you
And
serious?
where,
Yeah.
yeah,
Makes sense in a
You
large
have a copy of it
cemetery.
with you?
Yeah.
Makes sense here.
oh, the,
Unless there's some
the lot,
stupid
the
PA
spot
thing.
that he originally wanted to be buried at was, I think, up by Freeway A.
There's the ordinance and there's the regulations.
Yeah. And we did not find those until, what was it, last Thursday
Yeah,
that we found those?
yeah, I was just going through stuff trying to figure out if it was okay for me to go ahead and bury Jim up there. It was okay if I could bury Jim up there.
Dig the hole in.
Yeah, if it's okay if I dug the hole, and it says you have to have a qualified blah, 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 blah to do it, well, I've been backhoe since I was a kid, so I can't see why I would not be able to do something along that line.
I'm pretty sure you're
I
the
know
one who
this
does
is not
maintenance
what
for
you
the
want to hear out of
cemetery.
any government official, but I'd be willing to break some rules for this. I'm just saying right now. I don't understand the point of any of this.
To be clear, the reasoning, as
Yeah.
far as what we know, is because over time it sloughs down.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
so
you.
as things
And that's
decay.
We'll
Yeah.
just get some dirt up there. I mean, Jesus.
There's dirt up there, I got
Yeah.
a dirt pile in the back of the cemetery for those occasions that we have this happen and stuff, you
How
know.
long ago did he buy this plot? Thinking that
Quite
that's
a
where he
while.
was gonna be buried?
Quite a
Years.
while.
How long has he lived here?
We gotta
Yeah.
try to, we
25
gotta try to make
years?
this happen.
Yeah.
You've been
I
here
mean,
at
do we need
least
to say
25
that,
years.
say
Yeah.
we're gonna have a special meeting right now?
Is there anything in the ordinance that lets us waive that requirement? That would be the easy way if there is.
No,
No, there's not.
okay, it says
We've-
it's a must.
Yeah, we have,
I've
Looked
tried
at-
already.
he looked it over, I've looked it over, I mean, with a fine tooth comb. Why? I don't understand.
Yeah, because I just looked it up. There's no law says you have to have it. There's no EPA guideline.
Well,
or
see,
anything.
that's where I'm at. It says all burials must have a concrete container or equivalent. It doesn't say that the concrete container has to encapsulate the body. I mean, it doesn't say anything. I'm dead serious. I mean, if you want to look at it like that, I mean,
The funeral guy I talked to and stuff while he was up there putting Alan Fowler's headstone in and stuff, you know, he said that it's not uncommon for especially in the farming communities and stuff, for people just to be buried in a pine box and blah,
Right.
blah, blah, you know, stuff. And as far as that goes, he's even been to ones where they just wrapped them in a blanket and threw them in
Right.
the ground, you know, and I'm sure in the old cemetery that probably half those people there are just wrapped in a blanket and thrown in the ground.
Yeah.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kinda how I feel about it. I don't want some container.
So what can we do like right now to try to?
well,
bring
we
this-
gotta vote on having a special
Have a
meeting
special-
tomorrow at
Can we do
6:30.
that right now?
And then Leroy would reach out and see if this gets voted in, if
Oh,
she's.
God, it's so hard for me to talk to
I can
her.
call her
Or
because
somebody-
I already
Yeah.
talked to her this
Yeah,
week when
yeah,
she said
Cindy
he's
could
not
be
gonna be
like-
buried there, so I can call her.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
so
like
he
to
could
make a
do-
motion
maybe
to
do
call for a
that.
special meeting tomorrow night at 6:30.
I'd
I'll
second
second
that. Oh, sorry. Go
You
ahead.
beat me.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I wanna do a roll call vote on this, so if this ever comes back, it was a roll call vote,
No doubt.
and Milt, or
Rob Milchek, aye.
Gina?
Gina Gravenmeyer, aye.
Tammy Hassel, I
Okay, all council approves, unanimous vote to have a special meeting tomorrow afternoon at 6:30 to, we just wanna revoke that resolution?
Yeah, or we'll put another sentence in there to, and or Pine Box or something. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand it at all. I mean, they probably didn't think about it when they went ahead and did it too, you know what I mean? So.
And what they did, they took a boilerplate from somewhere.
Right.
and
This
adopted
is
it.
probably standard from some city that's got like a big, cemetery, but
Okay,
if that's
so
what he
we'll-
wants.
when do
We'll
we have to have
revise-
the special agenda posted?
I will have to post it tonight,
So should we have the meeting at 7 tomorrow night?
probably. Should
Only
probably.
It'll be
if
a
we
real
hurry up
quick
and get out of
meeting.
here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Only if we hurry up and get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the computer.
Did you have
You
anything
can do
else?
it in agenda,
Okay,
put it on the website right now.
Real quick, I've been going through the ordinances and stuff, and I can't find anything in there where it says about people parking their vehicles in the streets and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
For example, here, I bought this piece of land here and stuff, and the guy across the street parked all his stuff against my property and stuff.
It's actually on city property.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's actually city property, but he lives on the other side of the street, which we're seeing a lot of this around town going on, with several people that they live here, here's the street, but they're parking all their stuff over here, you know, and stuff. And I don't see what the difference would be with me bringing my camper down and parking it in his front yard or in front of his house on the street compared to what he's doing here and stuff. So, I don't know. How I'm gonna approach this is I'm gonna ask him if he would please move his stuff. If he don't move his stuff, then I talked to the county sheriff, and he says I can go out there, I can put a sticker on that there, and it says I am giving you 30 days to remove this, or it will be considered abandoned, and I will remove it. Okay. And that's how they look at it, that if it's been sitting there for more than 30 days, not on their property, that is considered abandoned and it can be removed, so.
So, since that's city property, can the city do that?
The city or the landowner,
landowner.
or pretty well anybody, the way the sheriff talked and stuff, yeah. And so, and this here is one issue. The other issue is people that have got stuff actually in the city streets. I mean, there's a couple people that you drive down the road and you're actually driving around, their rigs parked there, their trailers parked there, their equipment parked there, boats, whatever, you know, and stuff. So I don't know, maybe you might wanna look at putting some kind of a amendment in or something that says you have to keep the road clear 10 feet out from the center line. I mean, we own 60 feet, you know, and people are putting all their stuff on the road right of ways and stuff. And when it comes to snow plowing and stuff, if I hit that rig, who's responsible? Am I responsible with the snow plow for hitting that vehicle and stuff and damaging it, even though it's been sitting on the city street for years, you know, and stuff? So I don't know. I'm just tired of driving down the road and having to do this because people got their stuff in the road, you know, and stuff. So
Get a full quarter of those stickers and I'll go with you and we'll just.
Yeah.
There
I
you
was
go.
gonna say,
I got a 4-wheeler now, I'll help
Yeah.
you.
I
but
could've
a
taken
lot of
it.
them aren't, they're not abandoned. They are moved every once in a while or done something with, you know, so that, this is a whole different scenario here.
Right.
Because it's abandoned.
Well,
But the other ones are people just parking their rigs out there, that is in the way.
We've got one up on Marion that needs to be moved. By a no parking sign.
Yeah, and
So-
there's other people that maybe aren't parking like this, they're parking like this, and the ass end of their rigs are sticking out the road, and you're having to drive around to go around. Now, if I'm gonna be maintaining the roads, road grading, whatever I'm doing, I don't feel I need to be doing this down the road to go ahead and maintain the roads. And then, especially if you get a road grader or something, then it's gonna be really huge.
And we need fire trucks and ambulance to be able to
Oh,
heck
easily
yeah.
access on the
And
homes.
some of these spots are so narrow with people parking stuff there that you have to wait for the rig to go by before you can go by and stuff, and that is ridiculous. These are city streets for crying out loud, and we should not have to be doing this stuff, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
If we got a 60-foot right of way and we can't even maintain 20 feet to go ahead and drive down the road, then that's crazy. So maybe you might wanna, I've dug through the amendments, I can't find anything in there that says something about parking on the streets, and I don't get it. You know?
I'm sure we could
But
find
didn't-
one from another city and
Let's
adopt
say,
it.
but didn't we say that most of the DOT and like the street stuff, we just follow the NESPERS, their ordinances on general like
The
right
problem-
of ways and such.
Exactly, so if you follow that where you're going to a county ordinance or a state issue road ordinance or something like that, who's enforcing that? I mean, they're telling me
Yeah,
that
that's the biggest.
they don't have jurisdiction in the city of Peck to go ahead and enforce that. And I'm like, well, what are you gonna do, make me the cop so I can go up there and say, okay, here's my badge, get your
You can be
stuff
sworn
off.
in as a deputy, as a,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
I
called
see.
a deputy, but it's called
I
a,
see. Well, they called it city marshal is what they called it in ordinance number 7, I think, or 7 or 8 anyway, that the city appoints. But God, I don't want to do that.
I have a
Yeah.
badge.
We'll get you a badge and everything.
I have a couple
So
badges.
there was, the last person was Rasmussen anyway. He was the last one that was actually a city marshal anyway, that enforced rules in the city of Peck. And ever since they haven't had anybody since then and stuff, so.
Jim O'Connell wanted to, but they wouldn't let him. He told
Yeah.
me that when I first moved here.
Yeah, cause he knew about the ordinance too.
Yep.
Yeah, so, but anyway,
Alright.
anyway, that
I
just,
gotta get back into shape, so I
that's
can
just something that was,
enforce
that
the
one
law
done.
around me.
So, okay, so
Carry
I have a
Billy
question
Club.
about our special meeting. If we are modifying an ordinance, can we do that in one meeting? Or does it require?
Yeah, that, I
three?
mean, I
Oh.
hope so.
It does, it requires 3.
Free what?
You have to read the ordinance 3 times, 3 separate meetings.
There's nothing about striking.
And it's gotta be posted for so long and stuff
Yeah.
too.
What about an amendment?
Has to be, you have to present it.
Can't we have a special, like, we realize we got an ordinance, but we're gonna have a special election to forgive it this one time, we can't do something like that?
Well, you can't do it one time. You
What if I throw?
talking about
What
just
if I
like this
throw
one thing.
concrete dust onto the pine wood box and sprinkle some water on it?
I'm good.
Okay.
quick
There you
set.
go.
Well, I was just gonna go up there and do it without anybody even knowing about it, you know, and,
If it's not, we have to.
you know,
have three
but then it
meetings.
said $1,000 fine, so I wasn't too excited about
What if you
that.
what if you waive the fine?
Yeah, otherwise I would've just done it.
That could
Well,
be an
actually-
action
This
item.
the city would be
Yeah,
able
can
to
we
do
do that?
that.
That's the city's
They
discretion,
can-
isn't it?
Yeah,
It's the
that
mayor's
is.
discretion.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
giddy up.
Wait a
But we
minute,
gotta fix
I don't
this
know if it is,
ordinance.
but, I mean, I don't know if it is, but would that be at the
Well, who
mayor's?
enforces the
Pretty
fine?
sure the city does.
Who imposes the fine?
Well, I'm sure that,
A fine is a criminal penalty. I don't know that you could do that.
Right behind the cut here.
So, she wants this, and then I wrote this here. It works out.
Here's
Would
this.
I open
This-
a can of beans?
This
huh?
is,
Yeah.
this is
So
the
we
only
could
thing
get it on the
stopping him
website
from getting
tonight.
buried up there in a box. So
But
that,
if
just
we're-
that
that's
right
gonna be
there.
used.
That's just that one line right there,
I know,
that's
but I was
it,
typing
yeah.
it before you guys
Oh, I
decided
know.
that.
Do you have her phone number?
I don't believe I do.
I do, I'll text it to you.
No, let me look, I'm pretty sure I do.
Who's it?
Could we-
You got it, Margaret?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Could we
Instead of
then,
out
even
and
after the
ask her
fact,
first before we
still,
do all this.
after
You
the
have it
fact,
on-
still 3
I've got
times
Me?
change it and then vote to, like, null that bill, like,
I do believe
sure.
it's,
I've got
I
it.
mean, you know, we,
Alright.
these trainings that we went to, there's 5-year sentences that can,
yeah, I know we
Follow.
have to do the 3, like, we have to do that.
I don't know, knowingly, if it was something that we did before we knew about this, I think it would be deemed, okay, you're forgiven.
I'll pitch in and I'll pay the fine.
Mm.
But, are you gonna do the time?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to. do
Well, I was
that.
gonna too. I mean, that's why I told my buddy Ace, I says, what is it gonna be, $200 from each of our friends to go ahead and pay the fine? And what are they gonna do, make me dig them back up again and stuff because we did it, you know, I mean, for crying.
Yeah, and that was my only concern was, the name on that. If,
Oh, yeah, no, I gotcha,
the
but I mean,
retribution that,
yeah, I know, but if I was gonna make the news for doing something wrong, this would be one of the things
Yeah.
that
I'd be
like,
proud
go
to do
ahead
that.
and
You've
just sign
probably
me up
done,
now.
you've probably done worse,
Exactly.
right?
You know, this, I honestly, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he bought those 2 plots up there and he can't be buried up there because it was. And I'm not faulting them for adopting that ordinance. I'm just saying they probably, you know, you need
But
an
yeah,
ordinance for everything.
you
So
do
they
need an
got
ordinance, but it should have been, that ordinance should have been personally handwritten, or a note written and signed by the prior mayor who signed that ordinance and sent to every individual who has a plot up there.
Yeah. Well, and I would have never even if I just other than this specific situation,
Too late.
I would have never even known that it was. If I read that ordinance, I would have never seen the issue with it because people don't think about it, you know.
So do they get reimbursed?
Yes, she can sell the plots back to the city of Peck, and we could buy them back from her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
So-
can't she sell them to somebody else as well?
No.
Oh.
Okay, real
According
quick,
to
So-
that ordinance.
everybody smile and look toward the camera.
I'm kind of fired up. I don't feel like.
I don't feel like smiling.
Yeah,
I just talked to
Thank you.
Margaret, Margaret said we don't need,
It's too late.
Thank you, sir.
She already paid a lot of money, she said.
a lot of money,
She said she appreciated the effort, but it's too late.
that just makes me
Yeah,
mad.
she said she'd bury him in the Corvette if she could.
Yeah, so, yeah, so Mace made a nice pine box and put them in it, and it's got Harley Davidson antique plaques all over it and stuff, which is way cool looking.
Yeah.
awesome.
I think we should still plan to review the ordinance.
Right.
I'll put it on
We just
next
don't need to
month's
do it
agenda.
tomorrow.
Right.
Cause yeah,
We just-
I wanna be buried, you know.
That was 160, right?
Yeah, I think it was 160, is what it was. You can have it.
I got it at home, I just didn't bring it.
It's 160. I got it written down, and I
Yeah.
got it's section.
You can have this if you want. I was gonna just staple it and put it in the book in the truck for the cemetery.
And I was just
Put it in the
gonna
book, cause I've got one at home, I just didn't bring it here.
And the only thing I was gonna change it, cause I typed it up to see if we could get this through real quick, but you know, government and everything. Burials will either have a concrete container or equivalent, or pine box or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
Why can't we just get rid of that whole,
We could totally
Just-
do that.
we can.
just,
now.
just get rid of that
Yeah.
whole sentence? It's, you paid for the plot,
Do you have the ordinance before that one was done?
There was no
there
order.
was, yeah,
There's nothing.
Was there anything with the cemetery committee that used to,
Nothing.
nothing we
Okay,
have?
so we have a whole lot of ordinances that do not bear a signature or a
Exactly
date
right.
or any of that. This is not one of them, I suppose.
no, it has a date, it's signed and dated
Okay.
and the whole 9 yards.
It's one of our few valid
Exactly.
ordinances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Figures.
the one that, the one that we don't need signed is signed and dated. We can give that back too.
Yeah, well, that sucks.
Okay, so I will put that on the agenda for June. Gosh, it's May already.
How could you do that? Why did you do that? You did too. Somebody did, it must have been.
Okay, Leroy, your 5 minutes is up.
Thank goodness.
I knew I should have said an alarm.
Like 12 minutes ago.
If I could say with this, just kind of just put it out there. Idaho Legislator Title 50 Municipal Powers, Chapter 3 with the powers of the government says that cities shall make all ordinances, bylaws, rules, blah, blah, blah. Cities may enforce all ordinances by fine. So you would not have to enforce that fine if you did not want to. It's a may enforce.
I say we just take it out.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, like we discussed, how are they gonna know if it's in a, because we're not there when they bury them. We're
No.
not there, we don't dig the hole, we don't put the cement, how do we know that
We got
there's
such a small cemetery up there, I just don't see the need in it.
yeah, no, I mean, if it was a huge cemetery.
Or if
and-
it was down here on the floodplain.
On the flood,
Exactly,
yeah,
yes, that'd be a
then
good
I
one.
can see that,
Yeah.
but, yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
another
That
thing
sucks.
in the,
Mm-hmm,
alrighty.
okay.
Now that we're all riled up and raring to go, let's move on to, do we have any citizens' comments?
Sit
You
down,
wanna say
Leroy.
anything, Jesus?
Can I just take a moment and say, Leroy, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wished I had done it sooner.
Yeah.
Well, I think a few days ago, we didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think
Yeah.
a few
I
days
think
ago,
it
we
was
thought
last
everything was just
Thursday.
fine, yeah.
But it wasn't until, was it yesterday or Monday that she called and said she was not burying them here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
I didn't
just-
know that.
Just recently, yeah, it was
Yep.
just the other day.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, cause she couldn't find a spot until,
Mhm.
till this weekend or something, is when she found a spot to go ahead and find a place to do it, and I didn't even know she was looking and stuff, and I told Ace, who has been communicating with her a lot more and stuff, I told him, I said, don't worry about it, I'll go to the council meeting and I will make this happen and stuff, so, but then since then, things have progressed, and anyway, yeah, so. Damn it.
Well, you can tell her we're sorry. Or at least I am.
She
Yeah.
said that she really stepped outside and called her. And she said she really appreciated it, but it was kinda too late now, cause she paid a lot of money already. So,
Still doesn't seem right.
No.
Anyway, okay.
Moving on to old business, no citizens' comments. So old business, Rob, you're up,
I did get an email back from Microsoft. I'll make this real quick. You can just kind of, let's see here, based on, so I said 10 users, and then as far as like the Microsoft requirements for the system to get Microsoft government, it would be full data residency within the United States, like we talked about, like all of our cloud data and everything would be kept in the U.S. and handled by U.S. employees via Microsoft if it was on the cloud. Also compliance with FedRAMP. I'm gonna have to go look these up because I don't know. I know one of these. FedRAMP, Moderate, CJJS, DFARS, and ITAR. ITAR is the only one that I think I've heard about in some of my security training. As it pertains to like record management policy for city governments and stuff like that. They recommended, and this is the part that I think we should do, and I'll email her back. She said that they would recommend connecting with a certified Microsoft partner. They can walk us through a personalized demo of what the system would look like. I mean, I know we're familiar with all these programs and stuff, but maybe some of the ones that we're not. Answer questions about use, and then also provide licensing guidance and quotes at no cost. So I figured we would go ahead and do that. It says that each Microsoft 365 license allows installation on up to 5 PCs or Macs per user. So our 3 computers that we have, we could grow to 5. You should I feel like we should have 2 other laptops for the city.
yes.
And then update the old ones at the water plant too for those guys. And then, yeah, so basically more to come. I'll get back with her and see if we can get a hold of this certified Microsoft partner, and then that should get us our quotes that's what we really need, is how much is the damn thing going to cost.
So while you're doing that, if it's possible to do it soon, because our Microsoft 365 Business Standard subscription is going to renew on June 9th.
How much is
Let me
that?
reply to her right now.
That I
See.
don't know, I just got this from while I was out last week.
I'll respond to her email right now. That's all I got. I'll go ahead and see if we can get this Microsoft partner to get the quotes.
alrighty. moving on to renew newest draft of incorporating ordinance 64 and 172 into ordinance 186. I wrote this up in the format of an ordinance, and there was a couple of things that I tweaked, that's why it's highlighted. But the sooner we can get this done, the sooner we can deal with some major issues we've got going on. If we can come to a decision tonight to have a date of this finalized by the next council meeting. Of course, on new business, I got down here that we need to decide on if we're gonna have another work session.
Probably need another work session, fine tune.
Yeah, and fine tune this, but we have some major issues that need to be handled ASAP.
Okay.
Pertaining to this.
It sounds like we definitely need a work meeting.
Yeah.
So do we wanna start the process of reading the title or any of that stuff tonight?
I don't know if it can, if it's
Can
not
the,
finalized.
can the ordinance change after you read the
No,
title?
not without
Can't.
going through 3 more meetings.
Yeah,
with it.
no, we have to read the original 2 ordinances.
Okay.
So we have to do this, agree to it, and then have 3 more meetings after that? So we're
2
talking,
more, a total of 3
so we're
meetings.
talking another couple of months?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying, we got some issues that need to be dealt with ASAP.
Now, there's nothing to say that you can not have a work session, have another meeting in 2 weeks, a regular council meeting. You can do that and therefore bump it up quicker. You could have 1 a week if you wanted to. You just have
Just to do the reading.
Right.
Okay,
Well, rather than have work sessions, why don't we just have, 2 more regular meetings in May?
will they be considered regular or special?
Regular. The special is one that
Well,
usually is a
For a
24-hour
purpose.
notice and something you couldn't have planned for, kind of thing. The way I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So how much more massaging does that need, Mayor?
I'm massaging my copies of paperwork here, of the rules of open meeting laws.
Oh,
I think with this ordinance, the biggest thing, because I didn't get a chance to do anything else to it, was we had talked about pulling all the. That's all me probably. Is we were gonna take out the fees and the C table, whatever, for a
Yeah.
chart on whatever
We can
things gonna
update.
cost. I think that's probably the biggest thing, and then cleaning up the rest of it.
Justin, can you pull up Idaho 74-204?
Idaho code. Give me a second.
So even if we had it in a chart and we were to update the fees, we would still be amending the ordinance and have to do the 3 meetings anyway, so.
you could put in the ordinance that you were going to amend it by resolution.
Okay,
There you go.
Okay.
That's what we were talking
Mhm.
about.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Okay.
bringing that up.
cause I didn't know if, would it really be any quicker having it in a table versus just leaving it as is?
Well, the ordinance, as I understand it, and I haven't read it in detail, but it's making the automatic changes, isn't it? And fees?
Yeah, it was
So
that.
Is
it's-
that, is the table for installation fees, is that what that was for?
Well, so the original ordinance had some set fees for what it costs to get people's
Right.
property hooked up.
Which are not.
Now that we kind of removed because that's kind of subject to some flexibility depending on where the property is,
Right.
if they need a pump or whatever else.
Yeah.
The part where we were getting into fees was really getting into with the folks that we've had to shut their water off
Right.
habitually.
Yeah.
Is the biggest issue. Not the people where it happens, once or twice, where it's like an ongoing thing and we have to get to the
Oh.
point where we have to lock the meter and stuff.
Are
That's,
there any rules about, because our regular meetings are once a month, is there any rules in that code about having more than 1 regular meeting a month?
oh, you
What
got
was
it.
the
Because-
what was the number?
Oh,
Oh, you got it.
74-204, paragraph 1. don't know if it would be considered a regular meeting, excuse me. If we had 2 more this month to make, because our regular meetings are posted as once a month.
Yeah.
So technically, it can't be considered a regular
That's
meeting.
what I thought.
It would have to be considered a special meeting or a work session meeting.
Yeah,
That
in
makes
work
sense.
session, you can't do
Yeah, and-
anything, so.
and it would have to be special meetings. And from reading that codes months ago, I'm not sure if that's,
Yeah,
because it's not what we normally do.
yeah,
It,
I agree.
it doesn't say one way or the other. It just says that you can have a regular meeting at least once a month per calendar year. It doesn't say that you can't change it for a little bit. And then special meetings, kind of what you're saying. It's basically if something happens that you need to address within the next couple days.
So a regular meeting you can call with what, 48 hours?
Says no less than 5 days.
5
notice
calendar
with
days.
a 48-hour.
Agenda notice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So-
all it says though.
It doesn't say that we can't. I mean,
Have more regular.
You just
meetings.
gotta let people know that you're having.
Yeah. I'll do a little
Council
more
meetings.
reading on this, but it
So
doesn't
we'd
say
have
we
to
can't.
post it 5 days.
Yep.
Post the date,
Right.
and then the agenda is still
2
48
days.
hours
Yep.
before.
Because there's some some cities that have them every 2 weeks or.
And
Right.
some
Yeah.
cities have more once a week.
Right.
But they're already
Established.
established
I get
that that's
Yeah.
what they do.
City councils can hold up to 2 regular meetings each month.
Up to,
No, they can hold, yeah, up to, yeah.
up to.
Too.
Okay, so you squeeze one more in before the end of the month and
Is
then
there
the
an
next one's
ordinance
in
saying
June.
that we only can have one once a month?
Who knows, they made ordinances about everything.
Well, we did a resolution or an ordinance, when we opened up this regime that we were gonna do it on the second Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And there was already an ordinance saying that it was gonna be on the 3rd Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, so like Nampa, Post Falls, they all have 2 a week, or
Or
2
if
a
you know,
month.
it's.
Yeah,
two.
or if you notice, yeah.
Yeah. But since we have an ordinance, does it say on there, since we have an ordinance saying once a month?
Well, we did that by ordinance or by resolution?
You have to look.
I don't think we've actually done any resolutions, we've just done ordinances, to the
Okay.
best of my knowledge.
The specific day, time, and location of meetings are determined by each city's ordinance. So we have to look at the,
We have to look at the ordinance. And since the ordinance already says 1 a month,
Yeah.
we would be in violation of the ordinance if we had 2 per month. So,
Depending on how it's worded, if it doesn't say one a month and it just says regular city council meetings will be on the,
3rd Wednesday or the second
second
Wednesday
Wednesday.
of the month, then that implies that it's 1 meeting a month.
it would have to say
When-
at
At
least
least
one
one
meeting.
meeting.
When we did the new ordinance, did we cancel out the other one?
yes.
Okay. Thinking if you didn't, then that can both of them could ride.
Rules.
I'm just like, I always thought it was just like our federal government was like this, I didn't know it was our local government. that
Oh, it's
couldn't get
crazy.
anything done either.
No, and it's like we kept trying to tell John, you went to that training we had, and there's some lengthy
Mhm.
prison sentences for,
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not interested in
no,
that.
yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't look good in orange.
Yeah.
I don't feel good in orange either.
I just can't see you in
No,
there.
you can't, yeah, you're not going to either.
So then we bring this forward in June, July, and August.
And then August, we can start enforcing it.
Okay.
So at the very least, you wanna have a working group this
Yes.
month.
And that,
It's stuck to my,
Come here.
what?
hang on, I got it. I went
her
to scratch
ring.
my earring, got stuck
Oh,
around
no.
my ring.
That's why
So-
I can never do earrings or anything. That terrifies me.
So number 4 of new business is scheduling a work session.
Oh, okay, cool, good.
So, okay,
All right.
so with the ordinance, we will,
Finalize a work session and present in June, is that what you're doing?
yeah, try to get it finalized, well, we have to finalize it at a work session.
I need somebody to bring a Microsoft computer down here.
I've got one.
Sweet.
I'll bring mine.
Okay. So we need a motion to table this till the work session, when the next work session is
We
scheduled.
would actually have to table it until the next regular session. Cause we couldn't back on with the.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you could leave it at review.
Yeah, but okay, so I move that we table this, this resolution until the June, regular meeting,
Okay,
I
No,
second
To
that.
approve, right?
to approve.
To approve.
To approve.
To be an approval, yeah.
Okay.
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed? Motion passed.
Yeah, so in June, that'll be for approval,
Approval
not review.
Right, it'll be for approval.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on to some good, fun, exciting news. Grant committee.
Alright, so some updates, there's 2 grants that, I will be putting us in for in the next couple of weeks. One is the Forever Idaho grant, and, we talked between Tammy, Cheryl, and myself a little bit, and we're putting that application in for some renovations and repairs for the community center. That's grant application is due in June, and then they announce awards in September. The maximum amount is $25,000, though most awards are between $3,000 and $8,000. So I am hopeful, and we'll see what happens with that one. I'll also be putting us in for the T-Mobile Hometown Grant, which is due June 30th. That grant requires bids and estimates for work that we'd be completing, and so Tammy and Cheryl have been helping gather some potential bids for additional work in the community center, to include an HVAC system in this building, new flooring, countertops, backsplash tile work in this building, and also repairing the exterior. They're getting a couple different bids from contractors on what that would require. Neither one of those grants will probably cover the whole cost to do all of that, so we would kind of pick and choose what we're able to do if we were awarded those grants. The T-Mobile grant, like I said, is due June 30th, and then we would know late August whether or not we received any of that award. So I'm also looking at other potential grant opportunities out there for community centers to try to save this building. And in my search, there is a community center grant that had been going on through rural development, and I contacted them today about that. They did say that the last 2 years have not been given funding for that grant program, so that's no longer happening. But that was a huge program that was happening prior. They do offer like short-term loans to cities if that was a need, but we are not able to pursue that right now financially. I talked to Amanda Zweifel, Zweifel. She will be our North Idaho contact for rural development, and is the person that would help us through getting their funding as we pursue grant assistance to pay for a proposal for a new water plant. So she shared her recommendations for that process, which kind of echoed what I heard from Dodd Snodgrass with CETA. And she said that our first step in that process is really to procure an engineer. And she said that in her suggestion for getting an engineer would be to look at least 3 different proposals from 3 different engineering firms, compare those costs and credentials. She suggests when we get to that point, we also contact other cities that they have worked for prior to hear some feedback on their work as we make a decision. Dodd Snodgrass had emailed like a to-do list that I think I shared with all of the council on what kind of how to do that, and as far as procuring an engineer. And so my suggestion to this group was going to be that we just review that in more detail during a work session so that we are all in understanding of what that actually looks like to procure an engineer. And then when we feel like we're ready, we bring it forward to a council meeting to maybe motion on actually taking that step. I shared concern with Amanda at Rural Development that my understanding is we do not have any funding to pay for an engineer, and she said didn't seem to think that should cost us anything to request a proposal. It's like a bid and an estimate. I don't know how true that is, but that was her understanding. And she said once you have that engineer, they're very familiar with this process, and that's when we would apply for the DEQ funding, which is due in October. That would pay for 50% of the study. And then we would also apply through rural, that word is really hard for me to say, rural development for the other 50%. And they base their funding on our population and income levels, and so it's likely that we would qualify. She couldn't guarantee that yet, but she said that they are currently in the process of going through those applications right now, and she said that depending on how quickly we just would decide to get an engineer, we might still be able to apply for their funding this year, but if not, they open that up again in January. So otherwise, the DEQ application is due in October. If we do not get the engineer and get to that point before October of this year, then that sets us out a whole other year before we could look at doing that. So that's kind of what I learned from her, and she was a super nice lady to talk to, so helpful. What else? Oh, I had also asked her about the class through RCAC and the rural development class that is taught, I don't have it in front of me, but for small communities looking at replacement water plants, and that Anthony signed up for and Rob to go to on the 16th. She said she wasn't sure how much in depth they go into on the funding process necessarily, but she did suggest that we go if we could, that it would be helpful. So those were all the updates I got on that.
Amazing.
Anybody have any questions? It's a lot of info.
No, but when I was going through and cleaning files out of drawers and archiving them, I did come upon 2 other places to possibly get grant, not for the water department, but possibly a historical one, and then some more Arbor Day thing.
Awesome.
And I wrote those down. I just need to get those 2.
And I have been getting the emails you forwarded on other options. And I know Milt's, yeah.
I felt bad, that guy that I told you about got the grants. I don't know what the deal is. I emailed him, you contacted him. I haven't heard from him, have you?
I have not heard back. So yeah, she met with someone at the
Aging conference.
Yeah, an aging conference, and he shared some information about grants here locally that are related to kind of promoting health, right? And so we'd have to kind of figure out how we could connect that dot here if we could, and what we might be able to use it for. But I did reach out to him, hoping he could share some more info on opportunities. So hopefully we do hear back eventually, and we can see if that's something that would be helpful to us here. So anyway,
And we didn't get anything from Dave or.
No, I talked to Penny today, she's gonna have Dave get it ready before Monday because he starts a new job on Monday. And Tim Craig flagged me down earlier today, he was driving through town and saw me and said that he is working on his bid or appraisal of how much it would
Although
cost.
he
to be-
wants, he thinks he's,
Yeah,
we'll have to chat with him.
so, we should have Dave's by Monday anyway, and Tim's, he said he would try to get it done ASAP.
okay. The other thing that I saw on the T-Mobile grant application, that application's, I have to be very thorough, and they are asking for several letters of support from the community on why investing in the community center would be a good thing from different players. So if anyone has any
Oh,
suggestions,
I have people that would
the
probably
woman,
love
the
to-
ladies, the
love to work
little bit
with.
can't, somebody,
Mhm.
like different people that would be
Right.
willing to write just a small,
Mhm.
something I could attach to the
Oh,
grant
I know a couple
application.
people right off the top of my
So-
head, I'm sitting down and do it right now.
Yeah, we can talk more about that later, but I would need to get it in the next couple weeks so I can turn it in, but, yeah, so, anyway, thank you all.
Awesome.
How many do you need?
They said, I think 4 or 5 letters, just from a variety of
Yeah.
sort. I think they just don't want it all from like council members, they want like
Right.
the community at large to show that they have an interest in that.
Awesome.
Tim wanted to go ahead and rip all the siding off the building and redo the siding completely. he
Yeah, he
said.
wants to put, it's a metal or vinyl siding that looks just like the wood planks that's on there right
Yeah.
now. He
That's
said
what
he
told
would
me.
get a sample from his,
I thought we had to keep it wood for historical purposes.
and I'm not sure if that will work, but he said he would get us a sample and we can ask the historical society if that
nice.
would work,
Because it
because
would be a lot
if
longer
it
lasting.
looks like the wood, but it doesn't require painting
Right.
and.
Oh, no, I know it's awesome, but
Yeah.
this building's on the historical register, right?
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah, that's,
yeah, I don't think,
would be hard.
I tried to explain that, but anyway, he's going to do that, so.
Dave said he looked at that foundation, it can be fixed easy, it's not crumbling.
Yeah, I mean, it was, when you're going through all the stuff they were willing to fix on the inside, I was like, that's great, but man, we gotta do
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
stuff on
absolutely,
the outside of this
Yeah.
building. Yeah.
yeah, and I was at a council meeting years ago where they had an engineer come in, because they said the roof,
Trusses.
trusses were caving in, and the engineer said those are 100-year,
Old growth.
old growth, and he said those will be there long after we are all gone and our grandkids are all gone.
He said they were put in green.
Yeah, they're put in green, so when they
Dried.
dried, one back here in the far back did split, but they went in and,
Sister did or something.
yeah, so the timber in this building is gonna long last.
And that happened when they put the roof back on, or the tin roof.
Tin.
Correct.
It'd be a good
I'm
time to
not-
start getting some revenue coming in, because I think if we get this
Gosh,
place
I
fixed
don't
up, we'd be able
remember.
to.
Well, we just had-
Graduations, we just had people come today.
Today, wanting to rent the kitchen here, so, yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll move on to number 4, update on the, post office, lease. I need to send them at least, a email back saying, okay, this is what we're countering from cause their suggestion is that basically they're only upping the rent from $325 to $340 something, I think it was $341.
Like a big no on that.
Yeah,
So if
They're-
they're only going to 341, we're actually losing $1.05 a month
Yeah.
because it's the
Yeah,
5% on
percent.
top of it.
yeah. They want us to pay 5% to this JLL
So
for
our
them
rent
using
goes
them.
down. The
Mhm.
rent goes down, not up.
Right,
Yeah,
it would be down
technically,
$1.
I think it should be flat, $500 a month. That's just, I mean, that's cheap.
I mean, I don't wanna scare the post office out of here, but that's ridiculous, so.
Yeah,
And
but don't you think 500 is fair?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
For, especially with the heating system?
If you
you're
do
doing?
500, then you've got that 5%, so you're only gonna get 475. Just so you know, cause that 5%'s on whatever they're paying.
right, but
500 plus 5%. I don't know, it would still be better than, I mean, we'd lose money with this contract.
Well, I mean, we don't wanna lose money,
yeah.
right.
so.
So unless they want to drop us paying them 5%,
Yeah, but we're talking to this company, right? That wants 5%, JLL?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's that. You know, look.
I say 500 and let them take their 5% out of that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be more better with that, but not with what he's proposing.
Yeah.
So basically, just like,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would politely respond and say, you know, we're losing money if we accept your proposal. You know, we just put a new HVAC system on the building for the post office also. You know, how about $500? So at least we're not negative on us renting this building.
right,
Yeah, because we do need to go in and because they are not doing anything inside,
Yeah.
and they're going to have to allow us to go in there and do some cleaning and fixing.
right.
We need to be able to go in there and check the bathroom and make sure that there's no leaks and stuff in there, because I don't think it's been checked in many years.
And do we pay their water?
No, they pay their water,
We
and
pay
they,
their gallons
We,
used.
we
right,
pay gallons used.
So we're paying for their heat, we're responsible for their
No,
maintenance.
we don't pay for their
I
heat.
mean, we paid for their
The
heating
heat
system.
system, yes,
We're responsible for the maintenance of the building.
yeah.
So I went in there and I went through all that real closely, the plumbing
Oh, you
and the
did?
bathroom and where everything was running. And when because of the wiring, that they had the heaters plugged in, they were gonna burn the place down with those strips in there and stuff.
Right.
So I decided to thoroughly go through it, and I did. I don't really see any issues inside the building as far as the floor, the plumbing, or electrical, as long as we have
plumbing
all those
doesn't-
heaters plugged in, yeah, so. Yeah, she would like to have, more of a plug-in setup on that wall, just like we'd like to have in our office, you know, because she's running off 2 power strips for all this stuff, you know, and it would be cool just to run up there and
Have a power strip.
have a power plug-in assembly like I wanna do in the office,
Yeah.
yeah, so, anyway, but that's about the only addition we need to do, and fix that hole where the air conditioner is at, yeah, I just need to do that, so.
I'd say, just like what Rob said too, we propose a letter.
Yeah, I propose 500 and just explain it. You know, we put in the new mini splits.
is that, just so I can put it in the notes, is that 500 inclusive of the 5% or 5%?
Exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah. You're right, keep going.
Inclusive, okay,
Inclusive,
so
yeah.
that's all in there and they pay the 5%, we get the 500, right? Is that the way I'm understanding it?
When you say 500
I know what you're saying.
inclusive, yeah,
That makes
We're not
sense.
responsible for the
Right,
5%,
we're
we
not
want
responsible.
$500 and we're not or we are.
we're not responsible for it.
Send us $500.
$500
Yeah.
Right, that's cheap.
But for all the reasons that we're discussing,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
they don't do maintenance to make sure their post office can continue to run.
Mhm.
We do the maintenance, you know, they.
We shovel the sidewalks
Yeah.
and salt it,
Replace the lights and
Yeah. Yeah.
put the mini split in. And their power bill went way down after we did
I'm
that.
sure.
Yeah, I'd put that in there too.
Yeah, I would just explain all those things as reasons why we're coming back, you know,
Okay.
so. I'm sure this company's used to wheeling and dealing, I hope, so.
Well, and this is their job. They would love it if we would say yes, but I bet you they don't think we will.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, they should be paying like, I don't know, $1,500.
Oh, yeah, easy. And it's gonna cost
Okay.
them way more than $500.
But at the same time, we don't wanna chase out our little post office either, so.
Do you wanna, and that gives us room to negotiate as well. So do you wanna make a motion?
I'd make a motion to respond back to the United States Postal Service,
JL,
JLL, about their rent for the post office encounter with $500 for rent.
So we would
Second that.
receive $500.
We would receive 500, and they would, you know,
85%.
Tammy made a
85%.
second. All in favor?
I,
No
Aye.
opposed, motion passed. We'll work on that. and
Did
get
we
that
ever
next
hear
week.
anything back from that engineer that wanted us to pay him money for the bridge over there? I know that's a little old business.
That got taken care of, I think you weren't here that meeting, that got taken care of by
TV, or no, LTAC.
LTAC,
They paid it.
They paid it.
Not by us.
Well, we had to send them a check for $500, they sent us the check back and paid us for that. Alright,
and they reimbursed us for this for lags and,
and we still got like $3,000 to spend if we need to
Right.
on the bridge.
yeah.
Good.
Okay, moving on to, the Woodard check, updating the building codes and, floodplain ordinance to adopt the Nez Perce County. What do you call that? Nez Perce
Looks
County.
like hazard mitigation
yeah.
plan.
Hazard mitigation plan,
All hazard mitigation plan.
yeah.
And building codes.
And building codes, yes.
And that was where we decided the Nez Perce County was,
Right,
we're
and
following theirs.
we're already following theirs, but this is just so that it's approved and he can put it in the new.
You have to approve it from 2025 to 2030 is the time frame he's asking
Right.
for.
Yep.
Okay, so what does this do, like in the situation we had there with Simpers, with the setbacks on the house and all of that? Those were county setbacks, weren't they? That we were insisting
That
on?
we, yes,
Yeah, okay.
we have, yeah, our ordinance is their ordinance.
I don't know, I thought the setbacks were ours.
No, it's a.
It's,
Is it?
it's
Okay.
Nez Perce
I've not
County,
looked
and
up
we,
theirs.
that's why we have
Okay.
the ordinances, cause.
Yeah, I
it's
dug all
Nez
that
Perce.
out and looked,
Okay.
reviewed all that when we.
Yeah, because we
had
don't
an
do
issue.
any of the planning and zoning, we follow Nez Perce
Right.
County's guidelines.
Actually, need the planning and zoning commission.
And the cop, and the centurion or whatever.
Dog catcher,
Yeah.
Because
rooster catcher.
if they keep pooping in his shop, they're gonna be
Dog catcher, yeah.
jail dogs.
Yeah.
Got that building up the water plant, you can lock somebody in there, they'd never get out of it.
That's true. Nice cement, bars on the window.
I know when we get some leg irons and belly chains.
There you go.
Milt's like, what'd I miss?
Leg irons and belly chains, and your wife started smiling and you're
So what does this change for us as we adopt it?
Nothing.
Nothing, we
It
just
just updates.
updating it, we're adopting it from 2000.
But we had that monstrosity of an ordinance on building requirements and that sort of thing.
And that's, will remain, because that's,
It will remain the monstrosity that it is, or it will,
it'll
we'll
just
change
be
it, we'll
updated.
change it to conform to the rest of the county, or
We're already conformed to the county.
are we?
Yeah, we already, because we do not have a planning and zoning
Right,
committee or department. We, Nez Perce County,
okay. So we really do need to clean that up, because it talks about us having a planning, a planner, I guess it was.
wouldn't that be just good, Nez Perce County?
But it talks about the city having those functions also in that ordinance. that one that we whipped out. On
Right.
the
Well, it was
And-
from a long time ago, so
Yeah, we could
maybe
update
somebody
it
had
because-
that title along with something
Yeah.
else.
Right, cause we work together, she calls us, we
Right.
call her,
Right.
and back and forth to make sure.
Yeah, and then we had the authority to waive things like the setback and that kind of thing if we wanted to also.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
Basically the one on the front.
Oh, okay,
We just
the front one,
waive
not
that,
the,
yeah.
Well, the front one was supposed to be, it's so much farther back unless there's other neighboring houses that are closer, then you can line it up with them.
Yeah.
yeah. And I think we waived that for,
Okay, so then we wanna go ahead and adopt this resolution and send him a thing that says we did that, and, is that correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I so moved.
okay, Milt made a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of adopt, okay.
Aye.
Tammy,
I,
motion passed. Alrighty. Number 6, we have to change the budget meeting to either July 31st at 6 p.m. or whatever time is convenient for you guys, or August 11th. I don't think it can be much later than August 11th, right?
And this is in addition to the
Preferably
regular
not.
council meeting.
Right, this is
Yes.
a budget hearing.
Yeah.
Budget hearing.
Right, it's where we hear from the public. We don't vote on anything, our budget's already done. We listen to, you all listen to their concerns or whatever, but you don't have to address them. It's a hearing, you just get to hear them, and
I'm good with either day.
that's what Todd
Yeah,
told
I
us
think I
last year.
am too.
I mean, I'm good with the.
So that should say budget hearing rather than budget meeting.
Oh, okay.
Budget hearing meeting is what I meant to say.
I'd prefer the August date, if possible.
August 11th.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Me too. Actually, I think
Probably be the same week of our regular council meeting though.
Yeah, we have that, and then on the 13th, or no, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine, I'm good with August.
And it doesn't have to be at night, it could be during the day.
We're
or
gonna
that.
make a motion, yeah.
I make a motion for the budget meeting to be August 11th at 6 p.m.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Budget hearing meeting will be August 11th at 6 p.m.
Monday I'll notify the county.
Okay. Alrighty, new business. Replacement shut-off valves for valves that do not open or will not open up on Marion and Pine. Major situation.
So these are not on mains, on
These are main.
service lines, they're not
Yeah,
on individual.
Yeah, they're, no, not individual ones,
Okay.
these are the main shut-off valves
Okay.
for going down Pine Street and down
Okay.
Marion Street, yeah. So when I had to do that repair on Bronze, water meter and stuff, I was lied to. They said if I turned that valve off at Palmer's, that it would shut that street off going up the hill, and it didn't. And I knew by looking at the map that it didn't, anyway. So I had to do an emergency shutdown on the water system in Peck, because I couldn't shut off the valves at Marion and Pine. What it does, it makes a loop there.
Oh.
And if I could shut those two off, then it would have shut that all off on that one side.
Okay.
Anyway, but I couldn't get either one of them to move, you know.
Okay.
The main one that we're really worried about is the one down on Marion. And, cause if I could shut that one off and I could shut that other one off in front of Palmer's, and I could kill that side of the town, you know, and do a repair and stuff. These are the only two valves. I mean, I've checked maybe 5 of the 15 valves we have in the town that I've actually dug down and exercised them and stuff. So I still need 10 more valves I need to go check and exercise it. And some of them have never been exercised. So anyway, those are the two anywhere I know of right now. But when we do this, Gotta dig down, dig them out, unbolt them, pull them out, put them in. That means you gotta kill the water in the whole town and stuff. Then we're on for a major boil order
Yep.
and flushing of the town water system when that all happens and stuff. So it's gonna be a major project for the city.
So what do these valves cost?
They run about $1,200 a valve. Yeah, and there are, and we got one. There's one inside that storage shed down there that we've had, you know, just for emergencies or whatever anyway. But I don't know if they bought it for Miriam and have it put in, but we got one.
So how many do you need right now?
I need two for sure right now, but it's nice to have that backup one in case something
Okay.
weird happens.
So
So you wanna buy two, so you'll still have a backup?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. Yeah. So, where is it?
Yeah, I move that we authorize that.
I second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the valve here, right here.
I also move that we do the live work on that in the summertime.
Oh, absolutely. Beautiful weather, blah, 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 you know, and what we would do is we would dig, I don't know if you wanna do both of them at the same time, you know, but we dig
That'd be
them all,
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
dig them down, dig them all out, rope it
I
off.
think we should dig down and look at all of them before we pull the trigger on. I mean, well, not before we buy the valves, but in case there's anything else.
We should exercise all the valves in
Yeah.
town, so I can do an
Yeah.
assessment on all the valves in town, yeah, but here's the valve here.
To go ahead and get these two for now, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Milt made a motion, Gina seconded, can I get a
Aye.
Aye.
motion passed, all in favor? Okay,
And we use the water money to pay for that, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Moving on to, who the heck made this Anyway.
It's just gangster talk right there.
Purchased 10 Jersey barriers for the city lot to store gravel. Leroy got them for, we can get them for $50 and we're requesting 10 of them.
Where, for where?
For the city, lot, we have a city lot over on,
Let me pull it up.
what's that road called? Leroy?
Marguerite?
Marguerite? No.
No,
Yeah.
is it?
Margarita and
Lasky?
Lasky,
Is
yeah.
it like by the bridge?
It's by,
No, it's
by
just right here.
Planks.
It's just right here by Planks, go down that street
If
and
you
down.
go there right
behind the
now,
library.
If you go there right now, there's a culvert laying there, and there, Pete's got his dirt pile there, so we gotta get rid of the dirt pile. You guys didn't give him permission to put that dirt there, did you?
We did not, no.
You didn't, nobody here did?
No.
No, okay, I'm just curious.
Maybe just making you a gift of it, Leroy.
Oh yeah, he's a real present, all right, yeah.
He can be.
I really appreciate Pete, all that he does do for us, I really do, cause he does do a lot for the city and stuff, and I really don't wanna burn a bridge with him and have problems with him, but, there are problems. So here's the lot.
He has moved 8,
He's moved some.
I know that if we're talking about over here by his stuff, I know that he had told me
Oh,
he's
okay.
working to get all that stuff cleaned up.
And he has been,
So-
and I'm not really bitching
Yeah.
about that, because he has been cleaning the lot up, helping me with spread the gravel back here, level it out and stuff, you know, but, like I say, it's not fair to the property owners
Yeah,
that are adjacent to that, because he's actually infringing on their driveway areas and stuff anyway, but anyway, here's that lot there. Like I say, if we get rid of that dirt there and stuff, and then we just put a couple of them back there so I can have maybe 2 bays, one for the gravel, and maybe, I don't know if we wanna have 1.5 inch or sand or something, you know, but, we're gonna need rock here pretty soon, especially before winter comes for our sanders. Right now, I have enough gravel back here for an emergency water repair, that's what I've been saving for, or else I would've hauled it up and put it on spots in the streets to get rid of it right now and stuff, but I would like to find a spot so I can, have more rock available for us, for future.
So you want the Jersey barriers though, let's go back to that, so those are to put around?
Yeah, we would
you
put
made
like,
2 bays.
we would put like, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and then 2 here, and then 2 here, well, a lot farther out, I mean, yeah,
Right.
so we'd have like 2 bays here for rock to put in and stuff, just so I can have, for the sander, which would be 3/4 minus, you know, and then I don't know if you wanna have bigger rock there or whatever and stuff, you know, but mainly just one bay for 3/4 minus, yeah, for the sanders and for water repairs and for street repairs and stuff anyway, so, yeah, that's what that would be about, so, yeah.
So that you're getting those for $50?
Yeah,
Each.
from, Lonnie Simpson anyway, Debco, anyway.
So for about $500 then.
Yeah, so we would haul them and stuff, and, God, I hope my tractor can pick them up, yeah.
If
Yeah.
not, I could bring ours down.
No, yeah, these,
Yeah.
if
How
my
much do
backhoe
they-
can't pick it up, I'm sure your
Oh,
tractor
okay.
can.
We've got that big green forklift down at the firehouse too.
That's true,
Yeah.
okay, alright, yeah, so we can pick it up with that, and it goes up with that anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. I talked to them, the ones over here, the road rail ones, you know, by the old firehouse, he wanted $100 a piece for them, and I'm like, nah, I'll find, go a different avenue, so like I said, I found these from Lonnie for 50 anyway, so.
That's nice.
I don't know if, I still haven't talked to him about loading them and who, I'm sure, I've ran, Lonnie's let me run his equipment before and stuff, I've run his road graders and his loaders and stuff, so I'm sure that if I went over there, that he would be, no problem, grab it and do it to it, yeah, stuff, so. Lonnie's been really great with me working. with
So
him.
I would
I
make a
can help you out
motion to
too.
get them, where'd we go?
No.
Purchase 10 Jersey barriers for the city lot to store gravel for $50 a piece, totaling $500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. No nays. All right, Tammy, you're up.
For what?
And a lot of,
And we are going to, we are postponing the audit this year because we don't have to have one because our budget is under $250,000. We are going to postpone it because hopefully by the end of this month, we will be going to QuickBooks Online. That will allow us to, fix the prior audit that, because there was no,
accountability checks and balances.
well, checks and balances and, you know, it was just one person doing everything. Now we're gonna have checks and balances. We can both be on the same network doing opposite things and I can actually get in while she's working and double check bank accounts and double check accounts and stuff like that while she's still in there working.
And the auditors have also consistently asked us if we would please go to a fund accounting program, which we cannot afford to do. But with QuickBooks Online, and we're ready to go. I mean, I've got it now, we're ready to, we can switch over anytime. But the fund accounting is anywhere from 10 to 20 grand a year. Where QuickBooks Online, it's not a fund accounting, so to speak, but their chart of accounts can be tweaked to make it look like when they're writing a check, they're writing it from that water account.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so when they're, the paperwork that's gonna be coming now to you guys, I didn't get it done today. I could have, but I just didn't.
She was there till 4 o'clock today. When I walked out, it's when she walked out, and she was there this morning all day.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure
Well, I was gonna complain until you said that.
Yeah. But, no, I think everybody will be pleased. It's just not going as quickly as I wanted it to, and I do apologize for that, but I know I say this every time it's that close. But no, we could, tomorrow if we wanted to switch over, we're ready to go. Everything's been reconciled, it looks good. I would just be really nice, since we don't have to have the audit, to have 1 year of really good consistency for them to see.
And we're saving almost $10,000.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Cause if we
Love
do it now, we'll have to pay $9,800 and something
Yeah.
dollars. So
I
that
just-
gives us another year to save that.
Because he said that we could,
Yeah, he has,
even though it was previously, the prior mayor said, okay, we'll pay you this, it was in a letter, this much, and this much for the next 3 years. He
Well, see, my
said we didn't
understanding
have
of
to.
that contract though is that we contracted
with an
the
auditor?
years, not when they were gonna do it. We contracted those particular years, but not the particular time they were gonna do it.
Okay.
That was the understanding I got. Although they're not only the cheapest, I really like them. They're really nice. He actually offered, because you guys can, you don't have to stick with us if you don't want to. And I'm like, oh, we do. Because they're nice, they're helpful, and he said, you know, since we're under 250, we don't have to have it done.
And at the class that Cheryl and I went to back in September down in Boise, I asked around and they are the least expensive in the state
Yeah.
to do our audits. So,
What
yeah.
is our requirement to have audits done? Is there a requirement?
Anything over $250,000, it
Has
has
to be
be done
annually?
annually.
Okay.
Anything under is
every
every
other
2
year.
years. And right now we fall under that
Okay.
every 2 years.
Yeah.
And like Tammy said, I personally would prefer to wait because we're
So we'll have a
Cindy's-
year. We'll have a year of QuickBooks Online.
online.
We know
and
where
it will be-
everything's at now.
Exactly,
Right.
it will be set up, there's, all the journal entries are gonna be there, all the checks and balances
It'll
are
be
gonna
easier
be
to
there.
reconcile.
And
Well, yes, it's all, yeah, and then also, it's like you say, you're splitting stuff up now, so there's not gonna be that concern that they have through over checks and balances of just one person doing it and nobody,
Looking in, right,
you know, and that should be with anywhere, you should always have a
check and
check and
balance.
balance system, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they'll be doing it, and then they're gonna have questions, and I could be sitting at home and get right on and say, nope, this is, or whatever, but no, it's going well. Taking a while, but it's there.
it's been a lot.
So,
Yeah, so that's, that's where we're at with the audit. It, is being put off till next year. And hopefully we'll get an award for having such a great audit after so many years.
That'd be wonderful.
I don't know if there'll be an award, but hopefully they'll
It'd be
say,
an award for us, just to not get a letter saying,
Exactly.
bad city. We won't get our hands spanked.
Yeah, I really like those guys though, they're easy to work with.
Okay, if nobody has any other questions about
No,
that,
I think I know what's going on there.
we'll move on to decide on whether or not to have a May work session. I think we've already discussed that, so now we just need to decide on what day we would like to have a work session.
I'm trying to pull up my calendar here.
Yeah.
How does?
Not until the 22nd.
So we'll put off the cemetery thing till this meeting and stuff, cause it's no emergency now.
We could definitely talk about that during. I mean, we might as well. If we're gonna go ahead and take that out and fix it, that's an easy one. We could go ahead and
Yeah.
discuss it and make sure it looks right during
Yeah,
this
we need
work
to do that
session.
before something
And
else
then
happens.
add, and then, yeah.
Or
Before I-
something happens
before I
to
die.
Leroy.
Yeah. Well, we'll eat the fine on that one, Leroy.
They have for nothing.
Yeah. So,
There we go.
what, does everyone think about the week of the 26th?
Memorial Day.
Is that Monday?
Well, the week of.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
I'm good the rest of the week that week.
Me too.
I could do.
Do you want to do a morning or an afternoon one?
That
What's
would be up to
what's
you guys.
easiest for you, by the way, because you work during the day.
Yeah, me, the afternoon one is easier, but with as much notice, I can ask for the time off.
How about you?
If we do
Pay
a,
you though for that though.
yeah, I get a ton of paid time off over there.
Gina has to
I
work
could
though.
be down here at 3.
If-
During that week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have June and July, most of June and July off, just as a heads up, so.
So we can do a bunch of work sessions in June.
I will be
No,
at the river drinking beer. And,
But no, I can do morning ones. I can get the time off. That's fine.
we go for like the 28th.
The
Let's see.
28th of May at 3. That way Gina can,
If it's needed to meet earlier, I can just join, like, I can join at 3 if you feel like you need more time than that earlier in the day.
it's up to you guys.
I mean, I think we could do 3.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Something like that. I'd take a half day so I can be here earlier.
Okay.
And then I'll make food.
Oh,
What are you gonna make?
I don't know yet, something.
Let me know and I'll make
amazing.
the side dish to go with it.
It'll be a surprise.
Potato
salad.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
I've been doing all kinds
Oh,
of
I'll make
I wanna propose, if not this work session, the following, that we do sit down and talk about, procuring an engineer, or at least read through what that looks like.
I would add it to this one.
I don't know if we'll have time this one or not,
I
but
started trying to Google them, and I know when they ran the bond, there's one, because I mean, I'm not saying that's the one you got to go through.
Yeah.
And the best thing that I heard that you got out of that was whatever engineer we try to go with, we need to call cities they've done work for.
That was Celtic engineering.
Caltech, and specific. The reason I bring that up is living in Kamei and hearing about Kamei for a little while. Their slow sand filter and all their issues over there. I don't know who caused it or if it was bad engineer or whatever, but we definitely need to call cities. It's not actually falling apart. It's been this way for years. So it's just kind of,
That's what keeps it running.
So you're researching Celtic or?
No. I'm just saying that they went with Caltech when they were trying to run the bond here to replace the actual distribution system, not the plant. When they were trying to get money to fix all the, do all the pipes and stuff.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
did.
And then I was trying to Google. After you started talking about it, I was trying to find some more. So
I think in my email from Dodd that I think I included you guys on, I can pull all that together for our meeting, but he kind of laid out the steps to it, and I think we have to advertise. Yeah. For that, there's a process.
we have to advertise that we need an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a-
Yeah, you have to advertise in the engineer world is how I took it. And they will come to you and you pick who you want, right?
I think
kind of.
I think
It's
so.
like
Top
military.
three.
They want like 3 bids
Like
before
Shark
you
Tank.
can.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
I just figured we'd pick 3 engineers, not they would come to us. But
There's some, and I can see if I can get more details too on.
just the steps for the process is the best part, because I tried to pull some stuff and it's all over the place.
Yeah, we can do that for next week.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're on the 28th of May.
28th of May at 3 p.m.
Okay, what day of the week is that?
That's
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay,
Is that okay with you?
Eh,
Milt?
yeah, okay.
And
I'll try to be retired that day.
Wait a minute.
in the process of this, I will be sending out emails with agendas, and if there's anything that I'm missing, please email me back so I can get it on there before we post this, which will be posted on Sunday the 25th. I'll post it on Sunday if I'm in town.
Well, yeah, and if
It's
not, let me know
Memorial
and I
Day.
probably can come down and post it, cause I don't think we're doing anything. Not that I'm aware of yet.
Okay, can I get a motion for May 28th at 3 p.m. for work session?
Sure.
And
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any nays? Nope. Motion passed. Work session, May 28th at 3 p.m. And Rob's bringing food.
Yep.
Rob and
If Rob needs an accompaniment, I would love to.
Oh, well, I'll figure out the menu. I still have to curate it and everything.
You just let me know.
Alrighty, so moving on to,
City briefing.
city employee briefing.
Hey, I'm just trying to rush. We're hitting the 2-hour mark.
Hey,
Okay.
how about, are you fall asleep?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I have one thing only. This is the most exciting thing of the meeting. This afternoon, you'll agree. This afternoon, we got an email from Idaho Cities that said, I'm excited to inform you that your city's submissions have been awarded a 2025 City Achievement Award from the Association of Idaho Cities in the Community Engagement category and the Economic and Community Development category. How about that?
Damn.
Community engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo
Yep.
to the city of Peck.
I don't know who
That's
they
great.
pulled, but no.
I don't know who put us in for it either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
Good enough.
Yay, we'll take it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's it, next.
Okay. Leroy, you have anything? I don't think he does.
Dare you to be
He's
sure.
sure.
He's
Oh,
You
God, So as soon as we get another heavy rain and stuff, I'll go out and I'll mag. I don't care what day of the week it is or what time it is. I will go out and spray and stuff and get the mag on when we have a next heavy rain down anyway. So just to let you know, that's gonna happen. You see my little maintainer thing I built here. You
Oh, I
came
saw
in-
you driving that around, yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, it helps,
I
right?
mean, it scraped the edges,
Yeah,
for sure.
and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work them edges in and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, because it'll cut that and stuff.
I
you
mean,
know.
worst case scenario, if you did it a couple times here and there where the ground's, you know, when it's like wet or, you know,
Yeah.
where it'll easily pull it, I mean, it can't do any more harm to the road.
No,
I'll
and
tell ya.
it definitely fills in the holes and stuff a little
Yeah.
bit and stuff. So
That's nice.
I think, you know, if we were to have, like right after Brian graded that road and stuff, if I
Yeah.
had this at that time and just kept working them every time it got rain and stuff, I think that we can keep them
Could've
made
pulled
sweet.
it, yeah.
Sweet. Anyway, that's going on there. The park, went on the sprinklers there and turned that all on and, had a repair. I had to repair a repair anyway down at the park anyway. So
Anyway.
I got that fixed anyway. Here's their repair anyway. That they oops, come on, not now. Damn it. Yeah. Anyway, this is where it was leaking anyway. You can see that the pipe here that they put in there, and then here's where I cut it, and then. I don't know what, they just barely had it hanging on anyway, but anyway, I had to dig a hole in the park and go ahead and repair that. I want to finish ditching Elwood. I ditched the bottom end of Elwood and stuff up to Barton's. I want to go ahead and finish ditching that, rest of that all the way up. It needs it desperately bad, and as you can see by the bottom part, I did some major ditching, and I'm going to do some major ditching the rest of the way up Elwood, just so I get that all straightened out anyway. Right now,
How are we doing on culverts, Leroy?
we bought some. We didn't buy.
We
Negotiated.
got it. We got it. All right. I was told of some culverts. I called up a couple months ago and got chewed out. I'm not giving this stuff away. I said I was just asking how much you wanted for them. Then I was approached and told, you can have them if you'll give me a receipt for the write-off on them. Not a problem.
We can
We'll
do that.
take them.
Yeah.
We did
So
that.
we did that.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
So
Fun.
they're pretty big culverts. Anyway, one of them sitting right down here because this culvert collapsed over here, and I've been putting pieces of tin over the culvert, covering it up, trying to mend it to keep us going because there was holes in the road from the culvert completely deteriorated. So I need to dig that one up and put that culvert in down here. The other culvert, and it's got a little rust to it, but it's not a bad culvert. It's sitting down in the lot there and stuff. And then they gave us an extension piece, and it's sitting at the shop with a band, and if we need it and stuff.
Okay.
So,
Are the ones that are in place, are they pretty well cleaned out by now, or?
pretty well, I've got everything cleaned up when I ditched all them streets up there and stuff, you know, and I've got everything pretty well ditched. Elwood's probably mainly the last chunk that I have to worry about, and a couple spots down here by the park that we've had some flooding issues and stuff on, you know, but I think I pretty well got everything whipped as far as getting all the culverts and stuff and the ditches cleaned out and stuff. So that was a huge priority, and it's been neglected for some time anyway and stuff. So now I'm cleaning out the back of that shop bays anyway, getting rid of all that sandbags and all that stuff because I want to make it nice for storage back there and stuff. And supposedly keep working on that lot down there as far as getting it nice for organized anyway, especially the back part where the rack there to put them pipes and stuff out there, which we're still, did we okay to buy the fencing?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
We did,
It
right?
was $700.
Okay, no problem. I priced all that through, and we were looking at used stuff, and we can buy brand
Brand
new
new
for the
stuff
same
for the
damn
price of what
price.
they
So
were selling.
I will be buying that through probably Home Depot and getting that all set up and stuff, you know, to secure that lot for moving the pipes out, cleaning the shop up, and anyway, just to organize
And
stuff.
keeping the dog out of there from pooping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot that. Anyway, back to the ranch. We got to change oil on the backhoe. It's looking good. Backhoe seems to be working good. I've been working the hell out of it and stuff, you know. We got this, I still got the bathroom leak to go ahead and fix here and stuff, you know, which is to me a small priority and stuff on the list anyway. So, other than that, I think that's about it as far as problems and Leroy and Peck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony, Justin, you guys got anything?
No.
Sweet.
Anthony has a can.
You beat me.
Yeah. That's quiet.
Oh, I signed up
Yeah.
for that class on Friday.
Okay.
So if you want to carpool or whatever.
Yeah, I'll get ahold of you because I think it starts at 10.
Yeah.
So we'll have
10
to-
Mountain Time.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
gotta leave stupid early. And it's like 2
Where's it
hours.
at?
New
New
Meadows.
Meadows.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
9 actually, right?
Yeah, 9.
Yeah.
And she'll be getting up for what, 4?
Yeah, we've
But correct.
putting together a small little shopping listings for the plant that I'm finding part numbers for, nothing crazy. Present it next time. I'm kind of behind in like cleaning and organizing and all of that anyway. So, but other than that, the plant's
What?
running great.
You're behind on cleaning and stuff?
Yeah, weird, right?
It's almost like you're bummed up. for some
It's
reason.
weird. I know.
I can bring you a wheelchair up there and you could just roll around and do your
No.
cleaning.
Get a little scooter. But I mean, numbers look great. The plant is like quiet, like it's creepy quiet up
It's
there.
eerie. I went out with him the other day. I'm like, is it still working?
Yeah.
So the generator is not, or the compressor is not having
No.
to kick on. Is
No.
It's not. And so the whole talking about putting another air dryer in there, I don't think we need that now.
Oh, okay.
Everything's catching. There's
Yeah,
not as much water that's
We
being
need
released.
chips and bells.
Yeah.
So, I might need another set of hands too. There's a way that you can kind of put tension on them and tighten them up. So I'm hoping maybe we can tighten them up to get them a little bit longer. If that doesn't work, there is a set up there, but they look kind of old too. So if we do have to replace them, we need to figure out what they are for some new ones. But like I said, that's kind of just a little shopping list of things like that. I mean, we're not using hardly any chlorine anymore. We're not generating hardly any water. I think today's numbers, at the time I ran them, we had produced 10,000 gallons.
We
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
compared to
So we're good.
Yeah, we were pumping up to 100,000 gallons
Well,
a day.
to put into
Yeah.
perspective, when I did my report on the 3rd, we produced half of the water that we produced last month.
Sweet.
So we've gone down so much, and
We're gonna fix that even more. I know of a couple other leaks.
And that's it too. I think if we keep focusing on the actual issues and spending the money now to fix those issues,
Mhm.
we're going
Instead
to
of
start
letting them go,
generating
right.
revenue
Well,
as
we gotta,
opposed
we
to
gotta get ready for summer.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
well,
So that radio up there, the base station, is that on a mount yet? Did that mount fit it, the one I gave you, or have you tried it? or-
I haven't put it up there yet. I need to just get it on there.
Let me know if that mount fits or not, because I've got other mounts if it doesn't.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, there's some rearranging and stuff I want to do up there. I just haven't been able to get to it yet. Yeah, like I said, knowing how
This is yours.
redlined the system was and to how quiet it is now, it's pretty possible that if we just keep plugging away at it, we can squeeze the gears out of it we need to generate some real revenue to start putting towards
Yeah.
replacement.
That's gonna be nice.
So barring any catastrophic situations, but I think we're equipped now to actually deal with
That's
it.
engineered wood, but that's still.
That's really all I got. It's quiet, so I don't have anything.
well, I was up with him the other day and you could hear the air leak on the other skid
Through those
that
Mac
he had
valves.
said he couldn't really hear compared to the other one you guys fixed. And so
Yeah.
I'm glad that we ordered the extra
Yeah,
parts.
we already have all the parts to
So you
replace,
guys
so we're just gonna
Yep.
do it.
set up a day sometime to deal with that because we already have the stuff, so that's good.
Yep.
And that's this here that
Yeah, the
it's
back
leaking there again, or on,
Yep.
on the other skid.
the other one you
anyway.
can hear it now.
Okay.
So yeah, once we get those switched over, that's pretty much all the air leaks, at least that we can hear right
Seems
now.
like those, because I remember replacing some of those too before and stuff. It seems
They
that's-
they like going bad, and the other
Yeah.
thing with them is if there's any moisture in the line, there's a little piston that's aluminum, and it starts pitting with that moisture. So when we were redlining, it was doing a lot of damage to those. But now that things are calmed down, should be a lot easier. They should last longer.
Yeah.
We
And
can
that's
start
compressed so much air,
proper
it's not
maintenance
drawing
on
so much more
everything.
moisture all the
So-
time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other two things that I had, I know last time we were asking about that clay valve quote. I did get back to them. We do have a new quote. Both valves went up $500. But so it's still kind of within range. But yeah,
So we're up about $1,000 on the quote.
yeah, we went up. Double check.
Trump lowered tariffs on China to 30%. You might want to check that again now.
Well, I laughed because their parts come from Ireland and New Zealand. So when I called them, the guy said, "Well, normally we only raise our prices once a year, but because of the tariffs, they did an extra one." So I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then I was watching the tariffs on those two countries. Once those dropped off, I called them up again and said, "Hey, are your prices coming down because the tariffs are off?" "Oh no, I don't think. I think we're gonna keep the prices where they're at." So it's like, so it had nothing to do with the tariffs. You just wanted more money.
Right.
Of course.
Big
Yeah.
excuse.
And we're gonna see that all across the board.
Yes.
Yeah. So, just an update on that. They did go up more. And then the other thing is Forrest, the guy I've been having try to find us a new pump. That pump that he thought that we would be able to use, he actually found out that it's 7 years past production date. They've discontinued it. He searched as hard as he could to try to find us either a used one or one that was just on the shelf. No one has them anymore. So he said pretty much any pump that we're gonna get for that, the frame itself no one uses.
What pump are we talking about?
The feed pump, you got that one,
Yeah, I
Leroy?
got that one there.
Basically it feeds it from the raw well up and pushes it through the membranes into
Inside of the building up there?
yeah, there's
They're on
a
the
pump on
skids.
each skid. It's only about this big.
And
But-
nobody makes them anymore?
No, even the company itself, yeah, that pump that we're working on.
Is it rebuildable?
Not really anymore.
Is it rebuildable?
Yeah, that what he's got is a gland inside this cover here and stuff that's leaking and stuff is the major problem with it.
Well, and the
Motors.
the motor's fine. The outside housing for it
Yeah,
is rusted out.
Yeah, so everything from the motor on over is toast and outdated, like he said. So
Yep.
to find those parts, I know it's gonna be tough. So
Yep.
So how critical is the pump design? I mean, isn't the pump pretty much a pump?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because of how compact that system is.
Okay.
Anything we put in there is going to have to be retrofitted.
Okay.
So we're either going to have to try
Set
cutting
it out
some.
to the side or something?
Yeah, setting out to the side, cut down on the metal beams that it's on, or
Okay.
we're gonna have to do something else because they just don't make that pump. But that kind of goes to we need to replace this
That's
'cause-
exactly what we were talking about.
Basically,
We were
the
talking
blue
about-
and
Yeah.
silver piece need to be.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, you're looking at this pipe here is your intake and your output here anyway and stuff. And so it shouldn't be too awfully tough to put in.
yeah.
It's just plastic pipe gluing shit.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna run into.
Weld or something you can slap on there.
Yeah.
And
But I think
wrap some duct tape around JB. it.
There we go.
We're gonna have
EPA
to get-
certified.
we're gonna have to start fabricating stuff like that before the skids.
Yeah.
This is-
Because
this is
everything's so
exactly
aged
why
out.
we're after the money to
Money.
replace all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Exactly.
Because they don't make the freaking pieces anymore.
Yeah, we're running into things where people are saying we don't even make anything close to that, so make it work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when I worked on the plant, it wasn't new then either.
yeah, exactly.
So is there, just out of curiosity, is there like, besides Idaho Rural Water, or are there any other associations that somewhere across the country, other small cities, whatever, you could reach out to that might have one sitting on a shelf, cause we switched it out and it's too good to throw away, we don't know what to do with it, kind of a thing.
I know
Just a
there.
thought.
I know there is a Craigslist type thing for cities that they can buy and trade stuff. I can look into that.
Just a thought,
Anything I found is either a cheap knockoff
Oh.
or
Yeah.
they're hoarding the parts and they want a premium for them because you're digging into their inventory.
Mhm.
Same thing like if we had spare parts, we wouldn't be big on
right,
giving
so-
them out. Like, oh, your water plant broke? That sucks.
Yeah.
That's just what I found though. But the good thing, just like Leroy said, most of it is plastic pipe. So if we have to get creative to make stuff work, it should be
Right.
doable
Yeah.
without
Should be
taking the whole thing out.
Yeah,
So
it should be doable, cause we got lots of room down inside that pump.
we do, and then the building itself, if we gotta make it work, we can do it.
What do we know about Kerry and his job and longevity and all that?
Haven't heard from him from the last time he was here.
Okay.
I was thinking about, that's funny you mentioned that, cause I was thinking about him today and thought I'd drop him an email and see if he,
Yeah, he said he'd reach out to us when he left last time. I haven't heard from him.
When I talked to the gal I mentioned, Amanda with Rural Development, she did mention Carrie and said that he had mentioned to her and her team about us needing a new water system. So at least there's been discussion
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Hopefully he still exists.
Yeah.
Hopefully he didn't
Yeah.
lose his job, and that's why we haven't heard from him. Hopefully he's got other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I could get with you, Mayor, and
He's
we'll
a real asset.
reach out to him and
Yeah.
see if he knows anything.
yeah, that sounds like a plan. You guys got anything else?
I think that's it. It's just quiet. It's weird.
Alrighty. I have no questions or
The
comments.
courthouse thing.
Oh, yes. Surplus, what is it, surplus?
Yeah,
The
tearing down.
courthouse and Elaine's husband's,
Archaic building.
yeah, however you say that, is going to be tore down, so all their stuff inside, they're giving away to
Cities.
cities.
The Nespers old courthouse.
Yes. So Leroy and I are going to, well, I called them twice already, so they're supposed to call back, set up an appointment for us to go on the,
Just take the pickup and
So,
the trailer and
it's
Yeah.
supposed to
anything that
be
ain't bolted down.
the 20,
Right.
it's like this
20
weekend, the 23rd on, and then the 30th, the 2nd, and the 3rd of June for
it's
the
a Friday,
courthouse.
Monday, and Tuesday. This coming Friday, Monday and Tuesday. No, it's next Friday, Monday and Tuesday of the next week, and then,
Mhm.
the first week of June.
So did that
So
go
this-
on moving into the new courthouse?
They're moving in, when I was in Lewiston the other day, and drove by, there are a lot of activity in there. There are already desks, you can see people meandering around like maybe,
And so the stuff can be donated to us, or we can donate money to get it, or they can sell it. But it's first come, first serve, and she's trying to get a call back from
We wanna be
so-
first.
Yes, we do.
So what kind of stuff is it they want? What do you want?
All
well, we
sorts of
could
inside
possibly get, a already pre-made, counter for the bullpen
Okay.
and some rail. They got, I know in the, auditor's office, they have some banister railings there that I would love to get for there. We could get chairs, more comfortable chairs for easier easier pay.
For make it easier sleeping?
Exactly.
Comfort's a big concern.
Yeah, so anything that would be, that we could definitely use, I would like to try to get. I'm not into looking, just grab a bunch of stuff that we can't implement, we can't use. So,
I'm just my grandma helped make that quilt that's hanging on the wall in there and stuff.
I bet they're
Oh,
gonna
wow.
need that though.
I told him, I said, yeah, if you do anything with that, I want to
Yeah.
know about it.
Yeah.
So.
Jean, you had a question?
I wonder if the fire department could get in on some of that stuff. they're
Well, you
trying to
just
do.
tell Randy that they're
Ixnay, there's nothing left.
There's nothing.
Let us get in there first, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know, it would be something that he probably already knows about, but give him a heads up if you want.
He's pretty good at scrounging.
Yeah.
He could fill that building up in about 2
Yeah.
weeks.
It's a lot more stuff.
I did.
Yeah.
We took so much stuff from
Yeah.
up in Coral on those trips when we got the
Yeah.
racks. We took a ton of stuff.
Mm.
For what it's worth, I don't know if they listen to the minutes or read the minutes, whatever. But I believe Tracy Voss,
Mm-hmm.
the work that him and the individuals helping him on that property that sold across the way from him, they've done a hell of a job of
Yeah.
cleaning it up. It
Really?
Yeah,
looks,
nice.
Oh yeah,
it looks very nice.
Tracy
That's
can
cool.
clean some stuff up.
Yeah,
You just
how-
gotta.
Yeah, I wish
You
his
just
property
do
looked
his-
better like that.
Yeah.
But and then like I said, I don't know anything else about it, but I've watched it
Progress.
Yeah,
and it
Chris,
looks
yeah.
nice up there.
Yeah.
The city could definitely use a lot more of it. So for whatever that's worth,
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
it's
Maybe we
it's
can
good
put a
progress.
kudos on the
Yeah.
website or something. Yeah.
We should finish that road out through there and bring it clear to
Chicken
There you go.
sausage.
Really should.
Chicken
Ooh, that
sausage
sounds good.
gumbo. Okay, if there's nothing else, anything else, anybody?
Nothing.
Okay, at 8:11, this meeting is adjourned.